stare at the sun. I know it is a blessing. When I look at where I'm coming from, I know I'm blessed, and I close my eyes and smile. Sometimes I feel like the richest man in Babylon, and I've done my best, so everything's alright inside. Every morning I rise, I stare at the sun. I know it is a blessing. So when the evening comes, I lift up my eyes to the hills. I'm blessed, oh man, with my two hands in the air.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Your Voices. Of course, I am your host, Miss Edisa Eugene, and it is always a pleasure being back with someone different in order to set the tone for us as young persons, in order to just speak to us, have interesting conversations. And today in studio with me, I have a very young lady who has been involved in youth work for quite some time. Yes, tomorrow actually is known as International Youth Day, and so she is here today representing the National Youth Council. So with me we have beautiful Earlyca Frederick.
Hi. Good afternoon, everyone.
Yes, and of course many of us would have known Earlyca to be involved in pageantry and everything, but today she is here being more of a youth leader and the mobilizer. But we will be getting a little more into that. So again, good afternoon, Miss Frederick, and I just want you to go ahead and tell our people who you are.
Okay, good stuff. Thank you for having me. This is a wonderful opportunity, actually. My name is Earlyca Frederick. I serve as the Interim Mobilizations Officer. Most persons know me to be a pageant girl from the tender age of 3, but actually I do have a background in youth work, or what you would term as advocacy. I was actually birthed out of Students' Council. A lot of people don't know that. So I would have served as the vice president on our Students' Council at Schwazell Secondary. And that passion has evolved ever since. And so I suppose it has put me in a good position, I should say. It has made me very fit to be the mobilizations officer today.
Okay, very nice. And of course, I am glad that you mentioned that you have been involved, and so we could see that this role wasn't given to you.
No, not at all.
Towards it, and so you have a bright idea as to how to go about working with us as young persons.
Yes.
And of course, with that, I would just like to ask you, how has this experience been, knowing that you have been involved in so much from a tender age?
It's actually been fantastic. Coming in, I was, to be honest, a little bit skeptical, knowing all the work that has to be done with regards to getting NYC where we need it to be. However, I serve with a very capable group of young persons, very passionate and very able, and so it's been a lot, and I know the order is a very tall one. However, we're very willing and ready to work. We have many efforts in place thus far for mobilization and to get NYC where we need it to be. The objective is to really build that trust back in NYC, to get to know our stakeholders, to build membership, and that is what we're really working towards right now. And we have a few upcoming activities. We just came out of actually a very effective and productive president's meeting just Saturday.
Great.
And it was so much that these presidents had to say. It was really encouraging for me. I saw great hope coming out of that meeting on Saturday, and we're hoping to build momentum as we head into our social activity, which is scheduled for sometime late August this month. And that should be very, very exciting, as we would like to bond with our councils on the branch level. We're taking an approach this time around, as we've noted that conventional methods have not necessarily worked in the past, and this time we're going to do something unconventional, and by default, by the fact that I'm actually mobilizations officer is an unconventional method. Typically, you'd have a president, you'd have VP, you'd have a treasurer, secretary. This time around, we brought on a mobilizations officer, apart from the public relations officer. I wanted something that was a bit behind the scenes, not too much in the face of media forefront that much. I am passionate about speaking, and for some reason, strangely, I've been blessed with the ability to reach persons on all wavelengths, and I wanted to put that to good use this time around. You know, how do we reach the ghetto boys, but how do we also gain the support of stakeholders and affiliates in our community? And that is very, very critical and integral with the objective that we're trying to push. So that social activity that is coming up end of August, we're hoping to connect, to network. We're decentralizing the location this time around. So it's always been the north. Me being from the south, I'm a country girl, I'm a south girl, and I advocate strongly for that. I was a firm proponent that, you know, that this time it had to be in the south, this social activity, and all the councils are looking forward to it. We're planning some exciting activities, including a cook-off that will be judged by stakeholders. That is the intention, and it will be some friendly competition but fun. Everybody's going to strengthen their bonds. We're going to meet, we're going to connect, we're going to get to know our stakeholders, our affiliates within the community. So it's just not extended to persons in the councils, on the councils, but clubs, other social clubs, other affiliates. That's what we're hoping to do coming August. And of course, we have our General Assembly that we're working so hard towards, you know. So it's really been a lot going on with NYC.
Definitely. Thank you so much for just giving us so much information. Of course, so we will be touching on all of this that you mentioned. But I really want to commend you and your team for changing it around, because the same old way wasn't working, where you had a vice president, a PRO and whatnot. And now changing it and having a mobilization officer working alongside the PRO and getting the work done. That is actually a very good idea, knowing that not only do you know, yes, I am working alongside him, however, this is what I am doing.
Right.
And it is nice to see that you are trying to reach the young persons that are usually left out, and trying our best to connect with stakeholders as well. So that was an awesome way of going about doing this. I was wondering why you guys came up with it, but of course, now that you have explained, I am definitely happy, and I would like to commend you guys for all of this. So at this time, I just want to shout out the National Youth Council.
Hi, team.
Yes, big up, because you guys have been doing a fantastic job, knowing how it has been. I want to commend you guys. So just continuing taking up the mantle to ensuring that youth work and youth development is being pushed in St. Lucia. Definitely. And of course, I know you have mentioned what is required of you as a mobilization officer. Anything else you would like to add? What else is expected of you?
I think I've captured it all, but it's really your ability to reach everyone, not just what the persons people would view as elitist or the normal athletic group that you would see, but how do we reach our underprivileged, our disadvantaged youth, those persons who feel marginalized, and we want to this time around ensure that nobody is left out. Nobody is left out. And one of the efforts as well, one thing that we also have on our agenda is to actually try to break down this formal structure that we see on the councils on the branch level. So we would have reviewed it on Saturday, but considering that these presidents had so much to say, that objective was not met. However, it is something on our agenda, looking to go through the constitution, to amend it, and to see how flexible we can make these structures on the branch levels. So possibly you may just see a mobilization officer on the branch level as well, because we have noted the importance of reaching everyone and ensuring that nobody is left out.
Okay, excellent. And I know you mentioned also that part of your role is to try to reach, especially our young persons that we usually consider as ghetto youths. How do you plan to reach those persons?
For me, it's grassroots programs. And I recall some time ago, NYC, the past executive would have identified a series that they wanted to run. I cannot speak to why it did not go through, but it is my hope that whichever nominees or the new executive, because we're only interim, so that means we're here up till November, and there's so much that we can do in such a short space of time. But it's my vision that whichever person sits on the committee actually see to it that a grassroots program, such as like an on the block vibe kind of thing, gets to capture the challenges, the social ills that these people actually face on that level. That is the only way that we can understand if we really go down to their level. If we're up there, it says something, there's this level of, they tend to shy away, and so we're really trying to meet them on that level. In addition, I also see a vision for NYC to revitalize summer camps on the national level that would bring youth together on that level. I know it happens a lot, and actually ongoing are many camps happening in the councils, but on the national level, somewhat it has been lost. And I myself was a product of one of those summer camps, and it provided a safe space, a haven, so to speak, for so many youth who probably see domestic violence within their homes, who are exposed to so much in the communities, that it is literally the only time that some youth actually get to come away from these kind of negative or illegal activity. And so I welcome programs like these camps, these grassroots programs. I believe that would be a good approach to reach such individuals.
Excellent. And I totally agree, of course, with the point where you mentioned that you cannot go to them at a certain level. There are times I think even politicians make the mistake that when they need to reach young persons, they need to understand, I need to put that suit aside.
Exactly. Put the makeup, even me, like this lipstick, this makeup,
you
the
can't go
eyelashes.
like that.
I can't go like that. I need to take off my heels and actually meet them on their level.
Again, there is this stigma attached, and I think everybody who's in the forefront of youth development would know that a lot of persons see us more as persons who work with politicians, or we are somehow involved with the government
or to push their agenda.
Yes, so we too are respected in that regard. However, we need to learn that there are different approaches when it comes, especially to our young persons on the block. So that is definitely a great idea, and I'm hoping that you and your team, knowing that I'm part of a branch, the Silver branch, of course, we will be on board as well. We have been doing some groundwork, and we will be involved definitely. And so I'm hoping that all other branches would come on board, ensuring that this is successful. And with that, Earlyca, I know we mentioned that tomorrow, correct me if I'm wrong, the 12th is International Youth Day, right? A lot of persons don't know that. So to our young persons listening and watching us online, I would just like to inform you that tomorrow is International Youth Day. So in advance, I wouldn't be here tomorrow. I would like to say Happy International Youth Day to all of our young persons in St. Lucia, and especially Soufriere.
Right.
Of course, Soufriere is filled with talented young persons, whether in being academic, business, sports, you name it. We have been doing great in our community, and so use tomorrow as an opportunity to celebrate the good things that you have been doing and you plan to continue to take on. So remember, tomorrow is your day. Take the time, glam up a little. Anybody who tries to, tell you, hey, what you're looking at, say, it's actually International Youth Day. So it's my day to celebrate and look good, smell good. So young persons, again, remember, tomorrow is your day.
Yes.
And so with that, what does the NYC have celebration for International Youth Day?
Actually, it's no big grand plan this time around.
Okay.
I must admit, our focus has been General Assembly and that particular vision that we want for NYC, and we're really working towards that. We're prioritizing, so to speak. I know that the councils do have a lot going on. What we did plan for ourselves is to work towards the reopening of our office, getting an office assistant, and his or her role would be very integral in actually helping to get us where we need to be. We cannot do the work alone. We've recognized that, and with regards to records keeping and all of that, it is important. And so we had scheduled to actually go in to revamp or to decorate the office, make it a safer space, a more conducive environment, and that is what we're looking to. So no major plans. However, I would encourage youth around St. Lucia, in addition to celebrating their achievements and all of that, their aspirations and whatnot, I would advise them to actually take the opportunity to volunteer. Volunteering is not some big challenge. It could be something as simple as just giving a meal or doing something nice for somebody tomorrow. I see that we can benefit so many ways in volunteering, and I just feel like a lot of the youth don't know the power of that. We need to create that awareness around volunteerism and how far we can get, or that impact that we can make, with volunteerism. And so tomorrow is the day that I would really, really encourage that. I mean, tomorrow and every day, but yes.
But definitely, I am happy that you guys are working towards opening the office.
Yes.
Of course, in the past, we have not had many persons involved in going to the office, knowing like, hey, this is where the office is located and everything, and knowing that now y'all are decorating it. Thank you.
Yes.
We'll be able to feel a little at home, come in, and it's nice. So of course, to you, it might not be such of a big celebration, but I see it as something big,
right?
Because it has not been functioning for a while, and so you guys are putting this back on board, and I am very proud of you and your team again. That is another surprise. So keep up the good work.
Thank you.
And so you mentioned so you just told me about International Youth Day. You told me about the reopening of your office. Now, I know that you mentioned you have so many things in the pipeline.
I'm coming up.
Now, I am happy. Earlier on, you mentioned that you guys have a cook-off plan. Praise the Lord that the Super Branch has one on Sunday. So whoever wins,
I'm looking forward to representing at this as well. That should be fun.
Yes, whoever wins will definitely be representing us at the National Cook-Off. Praise the Lord. So we fought of this before you guys had your plans.
You guys had some foresight or something?
I believe so. We were directed by the Holy Spirit.
Okay.
So that is awesome. And it is a nice way to see that you guys are trying your best to decentralize these activities.
Yes.
I would definitely be asking you that today, but you were able to tell me
that I already made the
get-go,
point.
because this is a situation that has been there for years.
Yes.
And it has always been a struggle to get those from the southern part of the island to be involved in activities, especially in the north. And so it is nice that you guys are working towards decentralizing and hoping that this would increase participation of all branches.
Definitely.
And that everyone comes on board. Now, another thing, you mentioned you had a president's meeting over the weekend, right?
Yes.
And what was the consensus of this meeting with your president moving forward with youth development?
Actually, it was a lot discussed. Coming into the meeting, for me as mobilizations officer, my expectation would have been to get an understanding of the challenges on the branch levels, to actually see how we could lend support.
Right.
And so a big part of it for us was to actually come up with an integrated calendar. What you would find happening when individuals plan or when councils plan throughout the year is that events would normally clash. You find a lot of events on the same day, and we ourselves as members of the executive, we can't really lend support, we can't really be there. And this time around we want to have a stronger presence on the ground. And so this integrated calendar, it allows for us to be present at events on the branch level to make our presence felt. In addition to that, it allows for us to plan properly. So we know, okay, Sufra is having something August 27th. We cannot schedule something for that date because it's going to clash. We won't be able to lend support, whether it's physically or in other ways. So we really want the councils to feel like NYC is here with us. And I think another misconception is that there's, NYC is above us, just the Castries people, but we fail to realize that all of us actually make up NYC.
Yes.
So we need to actually, get that up there, that all of us make up NYC. And so this is why it is important. So they communicated challenges. They were able to tell us what they had scheduled for August and September. And so now we have an idea as to the events that are happening. We were able to revise some critical documents in terms of sexual harassment policies and all of those documents that are integral in making us what we claim to be, what we aspire to be, and that is build a progressive, youth development. It's a youth development movement, building a progressive youth development movement that is safe, sustainable, and inclusive.
Right.
And so that's what we worked towards on Saturday. It was a packed day, but a very productive day, and we got an idea of what NYC looked like then. And I actually got to see pictures of me in summer camp, and that was a long time ago when Tim Ferdinand, I believe is his last name, he would have been the president, and Ajani actually gave us, a perspective of what NYC is now. And so you get to see the transition. And of course, all of those things we spoke about was to have us understand where we hope to go.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for that. Again, I could tell that this was definitely a success. Although you mentioned earlier that there was one objective you were unable to get to.
Yes.
But again, knowing that you got some important information that would actually help in the way of moving forward, that is actually excellent. And of course, it's nice that our presidents were able to come out to have this discussion.
The councils were very well represented. Very well represented. It was very encouraging.
I'm happy for that, and I'm hoping that this continues even after General Assembly, that this relationship and this bond is kept in order for the work to be done in our communities. And before we move along, I would just like you to just tell us the names of the persons on your interim committee.
No problem. So leading the team is Ajani Labon. We have after him VP Zena George. Dwight George serves as the Public Relations Officer. You have myself, Earlyca Frederick, Mobilization Officer. You have Marissa Calix, who is the Treasurer, and Secretary Krishna Sen Bryce. Yes.
Okay, nice.
So it's a good spread of persons.
That is what I was about to say. It's nice. I heard two names from our community, so I would like to specifically big up Marissa and Krishna.
Yes.
Of course, it is nice that you guys are being involved in the forefront, in the head group, in order to carry out this work. And of course, Earlyca, you have been involved in so much, and it is nice that you have found your passion.
Yes.
And it is nice to see that you have continued with all of this. And your title, I'm hoping that it is kept with you. I believe you're doing a great job so far. So
Thank you.
Should continue with this. And of course, before we take a short break, I just want to ask you, I know that most times in the past, NYC's presence have not been felt in our communities. And you would find a lot of young persons not drawing closely towards them because of just them showing up when they feel like or when they need you, right? So what strives are your committees, making in order to show their presence more in our communities?
Okay, so as I would have highlighted earlier, it's an effort. It's tall order. However, we're really willing to make the effort to actually for our presence to be felt on the ground. And apart from those social activities, and we hope to see many more of those, I'm hoping that these social activities are able to strengthen bonds, not only between councils, but we actually get to be exposed to persons who are influential in the community as well as those who are marginalized. So we actually reach them through those social activities. So I'm hoping when we come down to Sabisha at the end of the month, you not only see influential persons, you not only see members of the council, but I'm sure it would pull the interest of athletic youth in the community who are interested in football, who probably have a passion for cooking, who are interested in some beach activities, whether it's beach volleyball or that kind of thing. We're hoping to engage them in that way, to meet them, to understand them. What are your challenges? What are your needs? How can we be your voice? How can we be your voice? Because we do understand that is our main role, really and truly, to be the voice of youth around St. Lucia. And so it is one of the ways in which we hope to reach them on that level so that they could see us more. So when we come to those activities, when we're planning those socials, they say, okay, hey, I'm always seeing this girl. Who is she and why is she wearing? What does that mean? And then somebody say, oh, she's a representative from NYC. So they say, okay, they're actually coming to our events, by our presence, by them seeing us, they know that our presence is being felt. We're here, and that is what we're really trying to push. The idea, the perspective, the view that, okay, NYC is actually here, we're working.
Definitely, and that is good. That, of course, thanks for revealing where the venue is.
Yes.
I love that. Of course, it is close to home, so I am definitely saying that our young persons will be on board, and it is nice that again it is in the south. Whoop whoop. Definitely.
Yeah.
So
rooting for all the south girls and boys.
That you guys are making strides in order to reach young persons around the island. And so I urge you guys to just continue doing what you do in order for you to reach as many young persons as you can. It won't be easy, however, it takes time. But the hard work needs to be put in order for it to come into
That's right.
So of course, thank you for that, Earlyca. And as I said, we are going to take a short break right now. So thank you to everyone who has been tuned in, both on our Facebook platform and via our radio. Thank you so much, and of course, stay tuned. We will be right back.
Super, two of the island's scenic West Coast locations, and the home of 3 conveniently located Massy Stores supermarkets. We've got all your grocery needs covered, plus convenient services like our deli and ready-to-go meal offerings, and our pharmacy at La Pelle Soufre. As you shop, check out our money savers for savings and more value, and then earn Massy loyalty points when you are checking out. Now that's a good reason to visit us. Massy Stores, our family, serving your family. Joselle and Soufre, 2 of the island's scenic West Coast locations, and the home of 3 conveniently located Massy Stores supermarkets. We've got all your grocery needs covered, plus convenient services like our deli and ready-to-go meal offerings, and our pharmacy at La Pelle Soufre. As you shop, check out our money savers for savings and more value, and then earn Massy loyalty points when you are checking out. Now that's a good reason to visit us. Massy Stores, our family, serving your family. Joselle and Soufre, 2 of the island's scenic West Coast locations, and the home of
Get the funds you need now, just in time for back to school with Courts Ready Cash. Plus, if you apply before October 3rd, you will be entered for a chance to win your loan free. That's right, when you take a loan for school expenses from Courts Ready Cash, you could be the lucky winner of up to $10,000 of your loan amount. Also, when you visit us during the month of August, you may receive free gifts like back to school essentials, gift vouchers, Courts Cash, Radio Shack coupons, and much more. Visit your nearest Courts or Ready Cash location or apply online at readyfinancecaribbean.com. Conditions apply. Courts Ready Cash. We are ready when you are. Offer ends October 3rd. Get the funds you need. Cash.
The public is hereby informed of the regulations for the Sufre jetties. The jetties are managed by the Sufre Foundation. Operational hours are between the hours of 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. daily. During these hours, no unauthorized personnel will be allowed on the jetties. No vending, no loitering, and no visitor harassment will be tolerated. The main and boardwalk jetties are to be used for the disembarkment of visitors to Sufre and therefore should be a safe zone for all. Anyone found violating these regulations will be prosecuted.
Welcome to Youth Voices with your host, Miss Edisa Eugene, where we focus on youth advocacy, youth empowerment in academics, entrepreneurship, sports, marginalized youth, and more. Tune in every Thursday from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Youth Month 2022. Bouva ensemble et toute jeunesse. Evolve. Growing youth for an inclusive and transformed society. Are you ready?
When I look at where I'm coming from, I know I'm blessed, and I close my eyes and smile. Sometimes I feel like...
Okay, welcome back. And of course, as I said, it would have been a short break. And we are continuing with our conversation with our mobilization officer from the National Youth Council, Miss Earlyca Frederick. And of course, so far, Ms. Frederick has educated us on her role as the mobilization officer and what is expected of her and her team moving forward. She has also mentioned some of the activities that they have planned for us as young persons in our communities in St. Lucia. And of course, they are exciting, and we are hoping that persons would definitely take part, as this too will be decentralized this time around, and so this should be able to increase our participation. And of course, as I said, moving along with Ms. Frederick, we are going to talk a little about General Assembly. I think every post we see now from the NYC, we see hashtag
Road to General Assembly. Yes.
So I just wanted you to tell our listeners what exactly is General Assembly and what is being done as we get to this point.
Okay. So moving to General Assembly and that whole hype, the point of this whole hype is to actually prepare, in a sense, to create that awareness, to sensitize persons on various roles and the whole agenda of NYC. So actually moving into General Assembly, I think would be very comfortable, or the goal, or the hope rather, is that when we go to General Assembly, interest would be increased by then, in participation as well, and so you'd have nominees coming out of this process, nominees for different posts. They'd have an understanding of the posts that are actually available on the NYC, and so moving to an election process. And this is why we're working so hard to actually get that interest up there again. It is very, very important, because we need a very capable body that is the voice of youth in St. Lucia. That is the whole point.
Okay, nice. And going to nominations, right? I know you mentioned, so after General Assembly, then you would have gotten nominations. Mind explaining the whole nomination process? How will it be done?
Okay, so it's literally everything. It's representing youth. So it's not necessarily who wants who to be whatever. It's you having a voice. in who you want to represent you, and so nominees would have come from the various councils, and we're hoping for a great pool of individuals this time around after all our efforts. And so the voting process and all of that is going to be, well, we're praying that it's a fair, that is what we want, a fair selection process of individuals who are capable and willing and ready to put the work in.
Okay. Thanks for that, Earlyca. Again, another question in terms with the nomination, because of course we're trying to get our young persons interested, and so I believe our listeners should know exactly how this works. So after being nominated, let's say for example, well, before I get there, what are some requirements of persons to actually be a nominee?
To be a nominee.
Yeah.
All right. So well, this one I do not have the actual fact for what I'm about to say, but I would like to think that this person would have served on a youth council. Right? That is actually a requirement for our program assistant that we're searching for right now. Because how can you say that you're representing the interest of youth if you have no idea, you've never been exposed to it? I know that there are persons who may be passionate outside of the formal structure, don't get me wrong, but I think it's a little different when you've actually been on a council, you've served, you know the work that is put in, and you know what is required of a public relations officer. You've been trained in so many different workshops. It's a little different. So these would be coming out of the councils. This is why most times the councils are the ones making the nominations. Yes.
Okay. Again, thank you for that, Earlyca. And you answered my question, the one I
was about to ask next.
Yes.
Okay.
So that is excellent. So of course, as you heard, young person's nomination process, this is how it is going to be done, where your councils would basically be nominating you. Of course, it is preferred, I would say preferred, to be on the safe side.
Yes, to be on the safe side.
You are part of a council or used to serve on a council.
Social clubs,
yes,
that kind of thing.
So that means that you have the knowledge as to how all of this works, and knowing that you maybe have worked in it, so we know that the passion is there and that you would work effectively as well, which
and
is
passion is important.
Yes,
it's very important.
Very important. And so, of course, don't shy away. As she said, you need to try to get involved. If it's just a social group, of course you can be part of it. Don't stay behind. If you are interested, feel free to let the members of your council know, like,
right,
hey, I am showing interest in joining the National Youth Council. Can you please nominate me? Can you help me? What do you think I need to do? And your council, I am certain that no one on the council would tell you, hey, you cannot go.
Exactly.
They would definitely be willing to assist. Of course, if anybody wishes to know, again, I run on the council for Soufre. So I believe I am approachable. So you could always come to me to seek some advice if you wish as well.
Let me just pitch in, if I may. Apart from those formal structures that exist on the different DYSCs, you do have subcommittees for different events, and this is another thing that we're strongly advocating for this time around. So how do we get the passionate persons who probably have expertise in PR or events coordination, that kind of thing? How do we get them to come in to play an effective role? You find a lot of the time, if they're not successful with securing a position on the executive, that they shy away. But we're really pushing for councils to welcome those persons to actually hone in on the talents and their abilities that do exist in the communities, identify those individuals that have great skills in social media, etc., and get them to serve on different subcommittees, get them to be advisors. In Choiseul, when I was serving as the public relations officer, what we had done was to form a target persons group. And that actually helped with mobilization, in a sense that when information had to be circulated, you had this group with key persons in various communities, and that information would be disseminated in their flyers, whether it be for scholarships, upcoming activities, events. We disseminate that information there, and by just a click of your finger, that information gets out. It's that simple. So these little strategies may just help for some executives, and to get that passion and that drive going for individuals.
Thank you again for all that. And of course, knowing that you just mentioned the councils and the passion, drive, and everything, I am very much interested in knowing what are the councils doing so far. Mind giving us a little idea?
No problem. It's a lot happening, especially with the reopening of school.
Yes.
Upcoming is Soufre's Club Cook-Off, and that's happening coming Sunday, I believe,
Yes,
August
it is.
14th at the bus terminal, and that should be very exciting. I think Soufre has a bunch of lively individuals,
Yes.
lots of energy. When I think of people like Sancha and you, oh my gosh, lots of good positive energy that you could pull from, and they're competitive in a sense, healthy competition, I should highlight. And so that I'm definitely looking forward to that. That should be very fun, happening at the bus terminal this coming Sunday. A whole bunch of different councils have scheduled activities for the reopening of school, and that would include actually getting students ready in terms of haircuts and hairstyles.
Yes.
And that is scheduled for the weekend right before the Monday, which would be September 5th, September 5th or 6th, September 5th. Yes, school reopens on September 5th, so it would have been the 3rd and the 4th leading up to the reopening of school, actually getting the kids ready. Schwurzel Youth and Sports Council has a back to school drive that is ongoing, and if I'm correct, they are stationed to be in front of Massy stores to collect any kind of items that you can give, any kind of food items. And that is to happen on August the 27th.
Nice.
Yes, August the 27th. And that should be very, very, very exciting. Very, very exciting stuff. And that's only to name a few. We have Grozile, which is actually pulling a very different initiative this time around.
Okay.
And what they're trying to do, well, when they explained it, I found it very intriguing, the idea to actually have little ones almost copy the national executive, and so they take up a role and they'd actually emulate that kind of responsibility that the president would have.
Okay.
Yes, actually give them that exposure from a very tender age, in the interest of having them grow up in this thing and to say, okay, yes, when I go to school, I've already been exposed to this at a very tender age. When I move on to secondary school, I'd want to be on the executive, on the students branch, and move into my community because I have the knowledge,
Right.
I have the passion because I've been exposed to this, and it is something that we would hope that other councils would embark on as well. I found the idea very, very, very interesting.
Yeah,
And I fully
find-
support.
I find this one is very
Yes,
much
it's different.
interesting.
It's exciting. It should be very exciting for the young ones to actually understand, how the inner workings of executives work. That's very interesting. And so it's a lot happening. It's a lot to actually gain the interest and the passion of youth around, and the clubs are working, and I would like to applaud their efforts. We see you, Labri had Labriculture happening. That was a very interesting name, and how that came up was that each of them on the executive actually birthed a baby, and so Labriculture would actually be Jenny Chico's baby on that executive. She serves as the president, and she's very passionate about agriculture, so she came up with Labriculture, and so they've been exposed to so much, actually going into the bush and planting and all. It's very, very
Good.
interesting stuff.
Nice.
So let me applaud the councils again for your efforts, your initiatives. We see you, we know that you're working, and I just want to remind you that the NYC is here to support you in any way possible. I definitely note a high level of camaraderie coming out of our recent president's meeting. And even in the groups, when we speak, when we share information, recently the president for Mabuya Valley would have reached out and said, hey, I have this meeting and I would like to engage stakeholders to actually let them know what our executive is doing, what we were about and all of that. Any suggestions? What else can I add to? And the wealth of information that came out of that group chat, suggestions, recommendations, stuff that had worked for them that they would have suggested. I was very pleased. It was very heartwarming for me, and that is the idea, not to be competitive councils in the light where we can't share information. We're actually hogging the information and the resources for ourselves, but actually sharing that information in the hopes that our St. Lucian youth, this movement, the progressive movement that we're looking towards, is actually a successful venture, and I must applaud that. So great stuff, guys. Keep it up.
Of course, and it is nice to see that so many councils are working. In the past, you wouldn't have gotten so much publicity for them.
No.
A lot of the activities would have been done, not saying that they were not working, they would have been done, but persons wouldn't have been aware as to what is going on, who is involved, why they're doing it. And so now we have a better understanding as to why these activities are being put together and when they are and who can even participate. And of course, thank you so much for highlighting the Sufre Youth and Sports Council.
You're most welcome.
Cook-off. Of course, guys, this is taking place on the weekend, and I am looking forward to it. Of course, I will be on ground, so it is definitely going to be an exciting event where we have 3 judges, might be 4, might have a surprise guest, who knows? But of course, all of these judges would have been involved in culinary, are well-known judges, right. And of course, this is definitely going to be interesting because having our local persons cooking for persons who have been in this for quite some time, of course, it is mystery basket too. So you don't know what is coming in your basket. You need to prepare a 3-course meal.
Oh,
and
wow.
So, yes, it is 3 course. So you have to prepare your appetizer, your main course, and the dessert in order to impress your judges. So far, we have 6 clubs taking part.
Okay, nice.
And this is very
And they're
good.
all working separately?
Yes.
Okay, nice.
So we have the challengers. Well, we have challengers, we have Black Panthers, we have Rising Stars represented, we have Force and Jack, Barron's Drive, and who did I miss? I want to make sure that I say everybody. I don't want to get in any problems. But yes, we have Faith United. Wow, this is the President's Club. She would definitely take my neck. But yes, we have 6 clubs participating so far. And yes, it will be exciting. So I'm asking everybody to just come out. It is from 10 a.m.
Certainly.
From 10 a.m. And so knowing that everyone will just be looking, having a good time. Of course, we have eats and drinks on sale. So that too would allow persons to just stick around. We have tents to ensure that you guys are comfortable, not in the sun. Mm-hmm. And so, of course, just come have a good time. We'll be having some great music as well. So,
good stuff.
We're setting the mood, we're setting the tone in order to just see the skills of our young persons and to ensure that there is more cohesiveness among us as a community, not just as young persons, but just as a whole community, because we are also learning from our older folks who have been involved as well, advising us, and we want to thank you for everything so far. And moving forward, of course, I know the Sufre Youth and Sports Council has so much in store. On Sunday, there is so much going on. Well, this whole weekend, actually, for our young persons. On Saturday, we have our promotional football club going on with our guys. Yes, and on Sunday, we have cook-off. Sunday night, we have semi-finals of our Walaba.
Oh, wow.
So, of course, I'm telling you,
Mm-hmm.
we have a lot happening, and it is nice that our young persons, no matter what, they show out, they come and ensure that, hey, I am present. So just encouraging you guys to just keep that energy. I'm looking forward to seeing you on Sunday.
Yes.
And
I will
course,
certainly make myself available. I will avail myself.
NYC, not just Earlyca, but NYC could just come down, have a good time with us and see how it is in Sufre. of course, our persons down here are very welcoming, warming.
Oh,
And
yes.
so I could
it's
guarantee
a
you that you will
Southwestern
have
thing.
a great, yes, definitely. It's
It
a
is.
Western thing. So, of course, we all will have a great time. So, just to say again, come out on Sunday for our club cook-off. It promises to be fun and exciting.
Awesome.
So, of course, we are running down with time with our guest, Miss Earlyca Frederick. I want to thank all of you so far for staying tuned in. So, Miss Earlyca, of course, we are happy that you came on our show today where you were able to address us as a mobilization officer, not just as a pageant queen.
Yes, different
But
capacity.
yes, it is nice to see that you have taken your passion and putting it into great work. I want to commend you to just continue doing that, working with a team of persons. Big up Ejani, he has been doing this for quite some time, and I know that he's doing a good job in leading this
Oh, yes,
team out.
very capable of leading the team.
Yes, and so I want to say kudos to you, Ejani. Continue to do what you do. Dwight, I love to see the spirit. He has been doing great with his public
PR,
work,
oh, yes.
and I just love to see that everyone is just involved. This just shows that the interest, the passion, everything is coming into play very well, and it is very much encouraging for other young persons that you don't realize that you are inspiring to come on board to this youth train.
Definitely.
And so keep up the good work to you and your team.
Thank you so much.
Yes, definitely. And as we are coming slightly down with time, any last words to our listeners?
Okay, guys. Certainly, it's been an amazing hour here. I didn't recognize that the hour would fly by so quickly,
Yes.
but I suppose we were having fun while conversing, and so that's important. Please take note of the dates that I would have highlighted. Happy International Youth Day in advance. Remember to volunteer tomorrow and every day. Something as simple as to prepare a meal or to do something kind for someone. I would like to thank you, Edisa, for allowing me the opportunity to share all of that integral information. It was certainly a pleasure having me here. Thank you so much.
Not a problem.
Be safe, guys. All the best. Just shouting out all youth. Yeah, amazing stuff, and I'm looking forward to serving. So look out for the events that are upcoming. Support us on all social media platforms. Thank you so much in advance. Great stuff.
And of course, thank you, Earlyca, and you're most welcome. We are happy to have you, and we would love to have you anytime again on the show. Even you and your team, just having
No
conversation
problem.
and understanding what you guys have been doing and what you wish to continue doing. And so, thank you again for taking time out of your busy schedule to be in studio with me. And as she mentioned, feel free to follow all of the social media platforms. So you could check out the NYC at the National Youth Council on Instagram, on Facebook. You would see all of the details on there. You could also follow the Sufra Youth and Sports Council, both on Instagram and Facebook as well. And so other councils, if you are listening from any part of St. Lucia, feel free, hook up your council online, wherever, whether it be Facebook, Instagram. Ensure that you're following in order for you to see all of the updates and exciting initiatives that will be put out there for you. So of course, again, thank you to everyone for tuning in to this afternoon's program. Of course, I know that this allowed everyone to have an insight as to how the NYC is working, what is expected of us as young persons if we want to be nominated, and so on. So of course, have a blessed afternoon, and I am your host, Miss Edisa Eugene. See you next week.
Welcome to Youth Voices with your host, Miss Edisa Eugene, where we focus on youth advocacy, youth empowerment in academics, entrepreneurship, sports, marginalized youth, and more. Tune in every Thursday from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Youth Month 2022. Devant ensemble et toute jeunesse. Evolve, growing youth for an inclusive and transformative